talk about the current critical situation in Amazonia threatening the environment and all its living beings. Decades of human activity have pushed the Amazon rainforest close to a tipping point after which its capacity to soak up carbon dioxide and to keep its inhabitants protected from extinction might be irreversibly affected. The deforestation and degradation of the Amazon diminish the levels of biodiversity, deteriorate the soils, pollute rivers and lands, increase greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, put indigenous peoples at risk, and accelerate climate change, endangering the whole planet. In spite of this, month after month, local and international press have stressed that deforestation in the Amazon has been accelerating. In June 2021, for example, government data from Brazil showed that forest clearing in the Amazon increased by 67% in relation to May 2020 and reached its highest level since 2008. Even when in 2019 and 2020 the eyes of the entire world turned to the burning Amazon, its destruction continued and it is burning again today. Why? What are the major drivers of this destruction? What are the human activities that are threatening the survival of the world's largest rainforest? According to WWF, beef and soy are the main drivers of deforestation. Notably, most of this soy is used to feed animals exploited for human consumption. In Brazil, cattle ranching has for long been a main cause for deforestation. Today, close to 70% of deforestation in this country is connected to cattle ranching. Other activities such as legal and illegal logging, mining, and land grabbing also contribute to the destruction of the Amazon. Considering the devastating effects of these human activities for the Amazon and the world, how are some Amazonian countries responding to these threats? Let's take a look. Let's begin with Brazil, which has the largest area of the Amazon within its borders. While in 1965 this country developed a forest code according to which a proportion of rural land had to be preserved permanently as forest, the interests of big industries have had more weight than the law. In 2012, a new forest code reduced the area required for legal reserves. Additionally, in 2019, the Brazilian government dropped the action plan for prevention and control of the legal Amazon deforestation, which was in place since 2004 and aimed at reducing illegal logging. By opening the Amazon to large agribusinesses, the Brazilian government has shown little genuine interest in protecting the Amazon, even when empty promises have been made each time the international community pressures for action. In 2020, a coalition of NGOs took the Brazilian government to the Supreme Court for the increase in deforestation and the human rights abuses connected to it. The sentiment of these NGOs is shared by many national and international voices whose belief that the government is failing to protect the Amazon is widespread in this country. According to Greenpeace, the coalition is simply demanding that the Brazilian government complies with the constitution, which protects present and future generations as well as the Amazon. In Colombia, deforestation increased since a peace agreement was signed in 2016 to end an armed conflict of more than 50 years. The government, responding to the pressures to stop the destruction of the environment, has been developing measures against deforestation in the last years. In 2019, the government launched a military operation against deforestation called Artemisa to capture those responsible for it. However, while this operation was deemed successful by the government, it was criticized by organizations like the Justicia, which claimed that it was going against the human rights of farmers who were being captured. The operation, furthermore, did not really stop deforestation from happening. While deforestation in the Colombian Amazon dropped between 2018 and 2019, between 2019 and 2020, it increased by about 29%. In January 2021, the Colombian government launched a new strategy to stop deforestation, which is to be implemented in the next 10 years. The results of this policy are yet to be seen. It cannot be ignored, however, that Colombia is an extremely dangerous place for those who defend the environment, which can raise doubts about the real interest of the government in terms of environmental protection. Even where there are governmental strategies or laws in place, deforestation continues to happen in the Amazon in connection to the interest of big companies. This means that those responsible for it are not being held accountable or disincentivized. For instance, during the domestic case in Ecuador, Chevron Texaco was sentenced to pay compensation to the affected people in Ecuador. However, the company never complied with this judgment and initiated several national and international proceedings amounting to fraud and corruption. In this context, the role of civil society in the protection of the tropical rainforest and in the fight against impunity for its destruction is crucial. In Peru and Ecuador, for example, a coalition of indigenous peoples and environmentalists is calling on the government, through an initiative called Cuencas Sagradas, to develop a bi-regional plan with concrete action for the protection of Amazonia. This is only one example of numerous civil society actions and initiatives to protect the Amazon. Indigenous peoples are always at the forefront of this fight, as well as human rights defenders, environmentalists, lawyers, and concerned citizens. Given the lack of effective measures and of real commitment from the governments to stop deforestation and the economic interest of the big companies driving it, civil society takes on the huge responsibility of defending the Amazon. However, this fight is not without risk. It is in fact a very dangerous undertaking, which we will cover in the next episode of this miniseries. Check the other episodes of this miniseries to keep learning about Amazonia.